Y'all getting hype? Y'all getting ready? There is a Bucks game on Saturday. In a couple of days, there is a Bucks football game. We're almost there. The wait is almost over. So let's talk about training camp. Because we're 11 practices in. And we've seen some people trending up. We've seen some people get injured. So there's plenty of conversation all around it. But I wanted to talk about some of the players, some of the standouts that I feel need to have some dialogue. Not necessarily the best, because the first guy we're going to go over is Jalen McMillan. Not as good as Mike Evans, but we know what Mike brings, so we're not going to talk about Mike. We're going to talk about Jalen McMillan. So that's the path we're going down on this video, and let's get started. I have been to one training camp. I went to the indoor practice last week. Really good time. Packed out that indoor practice facility. Shout out to all the fans. And I will say, the guy that stood out most to me watching that practice was not McMillan or some of these guys whose stock is like, it was Cam Johnson. And he is our honorable mention because he is currently injured and has missed the last couple practices. And he is, one of the more long shots to make the team. But I think he deserves some shine because he looked really good. Really good. Saw him returning punts right in front of me, and while the coverage team is more playing at like 80% and he was returning at 100%, the dude flies. Like, he just glided down the field, returned 2 punts for touchdowns, and it was that kind of speed. So quick look at the most basic information on him. Rookie, 22 years old, out of Barton College. 5'10", 170. So he's definitely on the smaller side, but like I said, that speed is there. I'm interested what Barton College is. Division II. So, smaller guy, but you got to... I'm keeping an eye out for him because I really liked what I saw. But let's stay at receiver, and we're going to stay at receiver for, a good bit of this video because there is some really good stuff going on there. And let's go ahead and just get started. The most impressive rookie so far this training camp, hands down, Jalen McMillan. Everybody is raving about him. Scored 1 or 2 touchdowns at the practice that I went to, both red zone. And he has everything you're looking for in a receiver. Coaches speaking well about him. Quarterbacks speaking well about him. Even the defense speaking well about him. And, going into camp, it was that wide receiver 3 position, that competition. Trey Palmer, Jalen McMillan. And I think they're both pushing each other to make each other better. They're both going to get plenty of playing time this year. And they're both competitors. So they want that wide receiver 3 spot. And what McMillan has shown so far this camp, it's going to be tough to beat him out for that wide receiver 3 spot. Strong hands, can run every route in the book, confident, just smooth, not a burner like Trey Palmer, but fast enough, can play outside, can play slot. I mean, Jason Light might have done it again. We're not even into our first preseason game yet, so I'm not going to go too far. But yeah, everyone's raving about him, and they're raving about him for a reason. He has looked great. And like I said, to their benefit, they're both very different receivers. So depending on scenario, game situation, it might change who's on the field at that time. McMillan, like I said, the strong hands, red zone, bunch of touchdowns. Trey Palmer, that burner, that speed that every single team in the NFL has to have a guy like Trey Palmer. That deep threat that every corner and safety knows about and they have to respect. They know you cannot let that guy get behind you because he is out of there. And that's Trey Palmer. And Jalen McMillan does not have that. He does not have that Trey Palmer speed. Nobody does on this team. Maybe Jamel Dean on the other side, but it's yeah. In the receiver room, Palmer's got it. I thought Trey Palmer looked good last year, especially for a 6th-round pick. But there was still more meat on the bone, if you will. A lot of missed opportunities, deep balls, and that connection with Baker Mayfield. It seems like, he's not just a burner. He's not, I guess I'm taking an indirect shot at Scotty Miller, but he's not Scotty Miller. When Scotty Miller, ran like a slant or anything that wasn't just a fly route, it could make you cringe a little bit. Like, it's a little like, ooh, that's not what Scotty Miller does. But Trey Palmer, he can run those slants. He can run those ins, outs, whatever it needs to be. He can do that. And he was hitting on those things last season. You saw what he did in the playoff game, that catch and run. But the deep ball, that connection between him and Baker was missing last year. And honestly, for Baker, the deep ball in general was a weakness of his last year. He hit Mike Evans. Who can't hit Mike Evans in the NFL? But between him and Palmer, a lot of overthrows, particularly that Creamsicle Lions game comes to mind. And training camp, I think there's been 3 just deep ball touchdowns, Baker to Palmer, and that is exactly what we're looking for, because that is Trey Palmer's strength. So if he did what he did last year without even, connecting on that strength of his between him and Baker, if they can hit on that in the regular season, it just adds a completely different dynamic to this offense. I hope that connection is there, because that will be huge. So super excited about this competition. It's just been great, and both of these guys pushing each other will only make the team overall and this offense overall much better. So before I hit on 2 guys on the defensive side of the ball, I do want to say I'm going to be on vacation the week of the Bucs-Dolphins preseason game, so I'm going to be selling my tickets. I'd rather sell it to one of you guys, Bucs fans, rather than selling on Ticketmaster and, another fan of another team picks it up. You know what I'm saying? The whole deal. Life of a Bucs fan. But section 121, row H, I think it's like 7 rows up from the end zone, right next to the tunnel the Bucs come out of. $50 a pop. Just hit me up on Instagram, DM me. Link will be in the description, and it's in my YouTube bio, so you can find that there. Like I said, $50 flat. So if you're going to the game and you're buying on Ticketmaster, whatever, you're gonna have to pay fees, tax, parking. I'll throw my parking pass in there included with the $50. So if you're interested, hit me up, DM me on Instagram. First come, first serve. Let me know. So next I'm going to hit on 2 defensive players. We're familiar with them. They're not rookies, but their expectations have greatly increased from last season to this season. First guy we're going to talk about is KJ Britt. The similarities between the 2 guys I'm going to be talking about on defense is the confidence. The confidence is showing, and it's showing that they're ready to step up to the plate and just completely lock in to that starting role. I'm sure your mind is already going to where that next guy is. But for KJ Britt, the trash talk, I'm loving it. These videos coming out of him talking trash to Baker Mayfield, the Bucs O-line, we need that energy. This team needs someone like that in the locker room. And this is, guys lead in different ways. And Antoine Winfield, lead by example. Levante David, lead by example. Vita Vea, lead by example. We don't have a JPP or a Ndamukong Suh. We just don't. And KJ can be that guy for us. He can talk like that. He can. And the guys I just mentioned, they aren't that get under your skin type of guy. KJ can talk, and he can be that guy to get in the other team's mind, get under their skin. It's a real thing. There's plenty of players that have the ability to block it out, but there are also plenty of players who let that get to them and, causes them to bring out some emotions and, play a little bit worse, make a little mistake here or there because their mind is on KJ Britt. We saw what he could do on the field last season. Great run stuffer. That's really his specialty there, is that run stopping middle linebacker. Definitely needs to take a step up in pass coverage. It's tough to really ask that for him. He's a late round pick. just now becoming a starter, and he never really was even in college, that pass coverage linebacker, like what a Levante could do, it's not realistic to expect that from him. So I'm keeping my expectations. You got to do what you're good at. You're a really good run stuffer. Be that. I'm hoping to just be average in pass coverage, and this will be fine. We will be fine at middle linebacker. Levante, Servassier, Dennis behind him. We'll be good. We'll be good. I don't know if anyone watched that interview with Devin White and Ryan Clark. A lot of interesting takeaways. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to talk about Devin White right now. That's not what this video is about. But if you have time, I recommend you go watch it. And then that last guy I want to talk about is Zyon McCollum. Big question mark for a chunk of the fan base, and I understand it. That rookie year, terrible comes to mind. I'm just being honest. He didn't look like he belonged. He didn't look like he thought he belonged. And last year, he did take a huge step. Started showing that athleticism, started showing that ability, and that reason Todd Bowles drafted him. And those athletic traits for Zyon McCollum are superior. He is a superior athlete. And that's not just like, oh, he's an NFL player. Of course he's a superior athlete. No, on the NFL field, he is a superior athlete to the other superior athletes. Yeah. I hope you get that. Coming from a small school, that confidence was not there for him. And as a cornerback, of all positions, as a cornerback, you have to have confidence in your skill set and in your ability to compete with the guy that you're lining up against. You have to. And it wasn't there for him. So getting that experience last year, yes, it only happened because Dean and Davis kept getting injured, but he pretty much played as much as Dean and Davis did last year due to those injuries. And he looked like he belonged. No, was he a Pro Bowler or anything? Like, no. But there are plenty of games where he held his own. And there were a couple games, one or two, where you're like, okay, I can see a future with Zyon at this starting cornerback position. That's how I felt. Go back and watch that Falcons game in Atlanta. Zyon McCollum, yes. The confidence is growing, and you're seeing it in training camp this year. I think he has 2 interceptions, and that's something he's really focusing on, is becoming a playmaker for this defense, something we haven't had at cornerback for a long time. Davis was never that interception type of guy. Dean's not that interception type of guy. If he can become that, using that athletic skill set that he has, I know he said his goal was 6 interceptions this year. That would be, that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? So those are some of the guys I just want to talk about, I'm excited about, and have been looking really good, really improved, and showing some confidence throughout training camp. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your comments down below on maybe some guys that I did not talk about that you have thought have been really impressive. There's definitely been plenty of them. But yeah, thank you once again for watching. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. Go Bucks. Y'all have a blessed one.